YouTube, what's going on? We here with it right now. So we actually got a very interesting video right here, man. This is very intriguing to me because I was in the military. I have heard a lot of stories about SEAL Team 6 and the training that they gotta go through. I believe David Goggins was a SEAL. I got a lot of respect for the SEAL team, bro, let alone the military, man, the armed forces. But then again, I don't have, I kind of lost some respect because I was in there and I kind of see what it can be like in certain pockets of the military. But we gonna see what's going on. So it's this woman named Jessica Buchanan, and she was a hostage, bro. And you know, sometimes hostages be losing their life, getting they be getting all on video, man. It gets bad for the U.S. American hostages, man. But so we gonna see she got rescued right here. We're gonna see how they made this happen, what possibly went wrong, and what made America like go for her, because a lot of times hostages don't make it back, and sometimes you just might end up a prisoner of war, and sometimes people do make it back. Before we get this video started, if y'all new to my channel, you know what I'm saying, I want to let y'all know I got these 2 AM hats coming out, bro. I'm going ahead and making a link for it right now, making the website, getting that done. That should be up here very soon. Stay tuned. Let's go ahead and check out SEAL Team 6 smoked these pirates. Let's go. Come on, let's get it.
SEALs
I'm gonna let y'all know whenever
as they heard
I get to
Jessica
the point
Buchanan
that
desperately pleading for her life.
I
The
wasn't
American
there no
teacher had
more.
participated in a demining project in Somalia before being kidnapped by several pirates.
Whoa, okay,
Now
so
she lays sick.
okay, so this is her in a hostage video, and the thing is, bro, I'm not gonna lie, this is probably one of the scariest situations you can be in, because you never know what these guys with these guns behind you is up to. And the fact that this is even on YouTube and this is real is really wild. But this is kind of weird though, because so they say Somalia, right? I've been getting told lately that I look Somalian. People keep saying I look East African for real. I gotta probably do some research, see what's going on. I might be related. I might be that. I don't know. So she was a teacher at a field trip in Somalia. Okay.
Sick and starving somewhere in the desert, defenseless
How
against
did
the
the
winds
SEALs
of her
even know
heavily
she was
armed
out here?
captors. The operators of the famous SEAL Team 6 would do everything to save her. But one bad piece of news followed the next. Gale force winds would force the sailors to jump out of the aircraft at more than twice the wind speeds of what would have normally canceled the jump. On top of that, they were in the middle of a solar storm, which could block radio communication.
Okay, so this is another thing too, like America, I don't really know too much myself, but I do know that, I hear it a lot at least, that they kind of leave their hostages. Like, you know, they say America, we leave our hostages, man. We don't really fight to get them back. But clearly it's stories like this where people are out here getting saved, man. And shout out to the SEALs, bro. I got respect for the SEALs, because the training that you got to go through to get in there and then to upkeep, it's the real deal for sure.
To support units for
Major
hours.
respect.
The SEALs would have to prove that they were among the best before they even touched the ground. Any other mission would have been delayed by at least a day.
For you to get sent on
But
this
the
mission,
Warriors knew
you gotta
Jessica
be,
didn't have those 24 hours.
you gotta be the man. You gotta be a dog.
And so
like, raw,
they
for
donned
sure.
their parachutes, checked their oxygen tanks, and then jumped into the unknown darkness.
Real
in one of the most
warrior-like
daring
status,
hostage
like
rescues ever.
A real hero type of thing to
Jessica
do.
Buchanan was 32 years old and living with her husband in one of the safer.
It's her man right here.
Jessica Buchanan.
She looked totally different than what we just seen. She looked like that one lady. She looked like Reba a little bit. She looked like 2% of that one lady that played in the movie, that family movie Friends. That one lady, that blonde lady from Friends, that she was also in some movies. Her name like Anna, something like that.
Buchanan was 32 years old and living with her husband in one of the safer areas of Somalia. Together with her Danish colleague, Paul Thisted, she worked for a large aid organization, educating children about the dangers of anti-personnel mines that were widespread throughout the country. On her next assignment, she had to travel dangerously close to the so-called.
So she pretty much was going around educating the civilians on like IEDs and stuff like that. Okay, that's a unique job.
Called Green Line.
I can respect it.
On her next assignment, she had to travel dangerously close to the so-called Green Line, an invisible line behind which lay the areas controlled by Islamists. The security situation in the Horn of Africa was already tense as it was, with bomb attacks and small skirmishes between rival tribes occurring almost regularly.
Too regular.
However, Jessica had not come to Africa to hide behind walls, so she decided to conduct the anti-mine training anyway.
Field.
At first, everything seemed to go without incident. But on October 25th, 2011, the day of their return trip, everything was about to change for the two humanitarian workers.
What happened to these two humanitarian workers?
The first thing that struck Jessica as suspicious was her driver. Instead of their usual chauffeur, a completely unknown man was sitting in the Land Cruiser who was supposed to take them to the airport. Her Danish colleague, however, seemed to be in a hurry and climbed into the passenger seat unimpressed.
See, that's why you gotta follow that gut feeling, man. You gotta be on tip. You gotta be on your P's and Q's. That's why I'm kind of glad that I've been on my own for a minute, because it just forced me to really cross my T's and dot my I's, bro. You never know. This guy just got in the car and his chauffeur wasn't even in there. It's probably, the guy could have had a ski mask on for all we know. You got to really go off of energy, bro. Life and every decision that you make can lead you into situations like this. Because say if they never got in that car, or if they just got out the car, they would have been straight. If they trusted that energy, that gut feeling, would have been straight. Man, bro, like that shit is so serious. It's literally life or death, bro. You can save your life by trusting your gut instinct, bro.
Her Danish colleague, however, seemed to be in a hurry and climbed into the passenger seat unimpressed, which is why Jessica stopped worrying.
Yeah, because he's supposed to be the leader.
After only 10 minutes of driving, it happened.
A
massive car forced the convoy to an abrupt halt. Nearly 30 men with AK-47 assault rifles jumped out of several vehicles, banging on the Land Cruiser's windows and yelling orders in a language Jessica didn't understand.
Fear.
Before she could even realize what was happening to her, one of the pirates pointed his gun to her head while her security advisor was violently dragged from the vehicle. A heavily armed man sat down in the vacant seat and gave orders to Jessica's driver, who willingly hit the gas and showed who he was really working for.
Obviously.
It wasn't long before they stopped again and switched vehicles amid loud shouting from the pirates. The whole thing seemed very well planned, although the kidnappers had obviously consumed too much khat, a plant common in Africa which acts similar to amphetamines. After the pirates stopped in the middle of nowhere, Jessica and Paul had to prepare their own execution, only to be sent.
Can you imagine the fear that's going through your body, and then the fact that like this is real? Because the only time I have really reached real fear was in my dreams. And thankfully, every time I have reached that level of fear, I always woke up. Like it always has been all good. I have always made it back to real life and I've been good. In a situation like this, that is real. Like there is no pinching yourself. You're in the situation. You can't just wake up. Like your nightmare came true. Like what is possibly going through your mind as you in a car and you see what's really going on, people sitting here shouting at you, you know there is no getting out of this anytime soon. You're going to be at least here for however long they hold you. Like, this is crazy. And then you don't even know what might happen. Man.
Sent back to the car just before their tragic end. The pirates didn't care at all about the lives of the relief workers, but in order to collect the highest possible ransom, they needed their hostages unharmed. For them, it was fun to mock the powerlessness of the West on the other side of the world. Jessica and Paul, meanwhile, were living their nightmare. They could do nothing, as they were at the mercy of the barbarians and didn't even know if anyone had noticed their disappearance. But Washington was not only aware of the abduction of the humanitarian workers, it had already initiated first countermeasures. Jessica's aid organization had notified the American embassy in Nairobi immediately after the assault, which in turn informed the FBI.
See, that's what I want to know. How did they find out that she was a hostage? Jessica's aid, who is that? Her aid what?
Nairobi immediately after. Jessica's aid organization had...
Aid organization? How did the organization even know? Like, was they really watching over her like that from that far away or what?
Already initiated first countermeasures. Jessica's aid organization had notified the American embassy in Nairobi immediately after the assault, which in turn informed the FBI. From here,
imagine if
phone
they never
calls
knew.
were made to family members to reassure them and dissuade them from acting rashly. Even before the end of the day, high-ranking officials briefed U.S. President Barack Obama, and while the pirates were preparing to contact authorities, Jessica Buchanan was already a top priority at the White House. Jessica Buchanan, President Barack Obama, and while the pirates were preparing to contact authorities, Jessica Buchanan was already a top priority at the White House. Paul Thisted later recounted that the best thing that could have happened to him was to be kidnapped with an American. Both hostages and pirates were soon to find out what that meant. Almost 3 months later, Jessica was still in captivity. Good news was that she was still alive.
3 months. Bro, that changes everything. Like, your habits change by then. Your outlook changed by then. This is going to affect her for the rest of her life. Every day that goes by, she's going to think about being that captive. 3 months, that's enough for you to really change your whole life, bro. Imagine if you're fat, right, and you ran a mile a day for 3 months. That's enough for you to really change everything. So that's really how long 3 months is. That's how long of a period that, like, if you do 200 push-ups a day for 3 months and you have no chest, you're going to have a chest. 3 months is a long time to be captive. I hope they ain't touch her, like they didn't do nothing like that.
We're soon to find out what that meant. Almost 3 months later, Jessica was still in captivity.
100 days.
Good news was that she was still alive. Bad news was that despite slow negotiations, no agreement could be made for a ransom, as the pirates had even refused $1.5 million. Enough money that each of them would be set up for at least 30 years. That's not no real money, though. For every day, Jessica fought hunger, heat, and the constant fear that the kidnappers would harm her.
Of course,
As if all of that wasn't bad enough, a urinary tract infection had spread through her body, and in the worst-case scenario, it could be fatal. In a final video message to Western authorities, she joined Paul in begging for their lives and a quick payment of the ransom. Otherwise, she would either die from her infection or fall victim to the whims of pirates drugged with khat. That night, Jessica gazed up at the brightly lit starry sky and prayed. Unbeknownst to her,
See, now, I want to look at it from a different perspective. You probably can't get mad at him because we really don't know. Like, we really got to know why America is even over there anyway to begin with. Like, America could be in the wrong off from the roots from being over there anyway. You see what I'm saying? I just like to think that way. I think critically, like, why is America over there? That's how I like to think. This is tragic for Jessica for sure. Like, that's a tragic situation. Say if America wasn't ever over there, she probably would have never been over there.
Prayers were answered when 10,000 miles away, 24 cell phones suddenly rang. The men 10,000 miles away, 24 cell phones suddenly rang. The men picking up the phones had long beards and were covered with tattoos. Some of them had the stature of a bear, while others looked like hardened marathon runners.
Bro, shut up with
But they
that,
all
bro.
had one thing in common.
They had tattoos and beards, bro. Shut up. Your uncle got tattoos and beards. Come on, bro. They're human, bro. Come on, man.
Like hardened marathon runners. But they all had one thing in common. Their aura of absolute calm, self-confidence, and professionalism.
The SEALs are beasts, though.
They were all part of the famous SEAL Team 6, who had just been alerted for a hostage rescue. Over the next few weeks, SEAL Team 6's Blue Squadron trained day and night to rescue Jessica, her pleading voice from the video message always in the back of their minds. The warriors had hunted gruesome men all over the world, but when it came to the lives of women and children, they were especially motivated. On January 25, 2012, the time had finally come. President Obama himself had given the green light for the hostage rescue.
Look at Obama, man.
24 of the best warriors had given the...
Let's really just take a second. Like, it really just hit me. Like, Obama was really the president for real. Obama look smooth right now, bro. He looks smooth in this picture right here, man. This was really the president. Smooth guy. Cool, calm, collected. Never seen him get mad. Never seen him raise his voice. Shout out to Barack Obama, man.
Green light. Well, the time had finally come. President Obama himself had given the green light for the hostage rescue. 24 of the best warriors the U.S. had to offer would risk their lives to try to free both hostages unharmed. Their plan was to parachute over Somalia and then approach the pirate camp on foot so as not to alert the enemy with loud noises. At the U.S. operations base in Djibouti, around 500 miles from Jessica's location, everything military-related which was useful in some way was gathered. At this point, the total operation cost was already well over $100 million. That was how much America was willing to spend to save just one citizen. With final prep...
Let's not say it like that though, cause bro, America, dude, it's the reason behind that. Like, I don't believe that America just really wanted to save her. I don't believe that, bro. Knowing America, I don't believe that. America is literally set up in so many lies and deceptions, and it's literally built off of slavery and stuff. Like, America, I don't think they heart, like, as a whole is just, yeah, we're gonna save one person, 100 million. I doubt it, bro. It's something deeper. It's something under that for sure. I doubt it though. Just to save one person, yeah, right.
Preparations willing to spend
it's
to
possible,
save just one citizen.
I don't know. I don't believe that shit.
With final preparations completed, the SEALs boarded their C-130 transport aircraft and took off for Mogadishu. Remarkably, the pilots themselves had only just arrived and had been on a 9-hour flight right before, but performed their job just like business as usual.
Indeed.
All eyes, including those of the president, who was monitoring the operation via live feed, were now on the hostage rescue. As it turned out later, the kidnappers wanted to change their position on exactly this night, but had eaten spoiled meat and therefore ended up staying put. On the other side, however, a violent solar storm erupted, which hit the Earth's magnetic field so hard that radio waves, and thus radio communications with other support units, were disrupted. Meaning, in a worst-case scenario, no quick reaction force, no situation reports, and no close air support. On top of that, wind speeds were more than double what would have canceled a regular mission. But the rescue of Jessica Buchanan was not a regular mission, and every one of the 24 men on board was willing to take that extra risk. After about 3 hours in the air, the C-130 had reached their drop point. The SEALs rose from their seats, hooked up their oxygen tanks, and then dropped for more than 20,000 feet into the 40-knot wind.
20,000 feet, bro. And I've been on the C-130 before. C-130, these guys, you see what they got on? They got all this weight on and stuff. It's not even comfortable to sit down in the seat with nothing on. Like I seen, and then especially if you have a lot of people, bro, them trips can be very uncomfortable. So for them to have all what they have on now and all of this weight, and they was sitting on this plane for a while, yeah, I can imagine that. 20,000 feet, they're jumping from 20,000 feet. Man, that's crazy, bro.
After only a few seconds of free fall, the operators had already reached 120 miles per hour, a speed which is normally achieved by competitive athletes in optimal conditions. Despite the absurd wind situation, the SEALs managed to land semi-cohesively, with a few runaways who were dragged across the savannah for hundreds of yards before separating from the parachute. Holding security for each other, the sailors put on their combat gear and wrapped up their chutes. From now on, they had to walk several miles through the more than 100-degree hot Somali night.
Yes, sir.
After nearly an hour of silent marching, the sailors reached their last cover before irreversibly committing to the assault.
And bro, this is what you think about whenever you join the military. Like, you think that you're gonna be in situations just like this. Because this is really what it's about. Like, this is probably the most fun thing that you can do. This is fun. And in every dangerous way possible is fun. Just thinking about it.
They were now only 500 meters from the pirate camp. Along the way, they had changed direction several times to always have the wind in their faces, eliminating any possibility of being spotted early.
What they do?
In their face. Along the way, they had changed direction several times to always have the wind in their faces.
See, look at that. Like, that's so intelligent. They change directions every time to keep the wind in their face,
eliminating any possibility of being spotted early. Every little detail counted when it came to sneaking as close as possible to the enemy. A hostage rescue differs from normal combat mission in that the hostage's life is even more important than fighting the enemy. The SEALs would literally run through machine gun fire if it meant they could save Jessica.
And that's what's really wild to me. Cause you see how you just said they will run through machine gun fire? I remember vividly in MCT training, we was training to, if we was to be in a situation, it's called buddy rushing, where there's 2 people. Ideally, it's maybe like 6 and you doing it 3-on-3. But in our routines, there was 2 people and one person is holding fire, keep shooting downrange, right? Or whatever you shooting at, wherever the machine gun would be. And then the other person is just running, like you're running towards the shooter. You're running towards the machine gun. And then once he gets some yards ahead of you, he holds down fire. And then now the next person is running, hopefully to get in. You trying to get some distance in front of the guy that you ran for. And then you get down and start holding down, you know what I'm saying, holding down fire and shit. And that is a setup. You're damn near doomed, bro. Like, you're doomed for real. So it's situations like that where you're pretty much gonna die, bro. Like, it's a couple routines that we was doing where, say if there was a plane coming in the sky and they was looking to bomb wherever you was at or something, like the things that you would try to do to prevent or protect yourself is not really protective because you're set up to kind of fail, bro. Like, you're gonna die damn near. It's crazy. Running towards machine guns, like, that's really what you do. Shit's crazy, bro.
Their goal was to remain undetected for as long as possible. Then speed was of the essence. As the 24 warriors began to move again, the longest hour of their lives was about to begin. They had long been within earshot of the pirates, and only night's darkness kept them from the attention of enemy guards. As if in slow motion, one foot was silently placed forward, the weight shifted, and only then followed the next foot. An experienced SEAL named Justin Sheffield led the group. At his hand signal, the operators spread out far to the left and right to bring as many rifles forward as possible without walking into others' field of fire.
No time
Snipers
for no
positioned
fuck-ups.
themselves on the outer flanks and monitored their comrades' actions. As the sailors moved forward in perfect unison, they could watch through their thermal scopes as the enemy sentries slowly became anxious and woke the other pirates. The SEALs quickened their pace, still perfectly steady. Sheffield aimed his laser at one of the Somali guards, and without having to say anything, his comrades did the same. The infrared beam was completely invisible to the pirates without night vision, but they sensed something moving in the darkness. With a loud clack, they racked their heavy PKM machine guns and got into position. The pirates pointed their weapons roughly in the direction from which they heard the sounds. The SEALs increased their pace once again, now less concerned with noise discipline than with closing the distance to the hostages before all hell broke loose. With a deafening noise, the pirates' machine gun kicked off and fired deadly 7.62 millimeter rounds at the operators, followed by several AK-47 assault rifles. The snipers had been waiting for just this moment and almost immediately silenced the enemy machine guns before seeking new targets. With surgical precision, the Navy SEALs returned fire while simultaneously fighting their way forward to find Jessica. In a similar hostage...
I just said that. That's buddy rushing. That they was buddy rushing right there. They was returning fire while moving forward at the same time. I mean, they in the SEALs, so they probably doing it. They probably honestly taught us the like dumbed down version. There's probably way more layers to that, honestly. But that's pretty much what I was just talking about, though. Holding down fire while moving forward. Hey, this is getting good, though. I want to see how they saved her.
Simultaneously fighting their way forward to find Jessica. In a similar hostage rescue, French special forces failed to overwhelm the hostiles quickly enough, resulting in the execution of the hostage. Each of the SEALs was prepared to do anything to avoid just that. The hundreds of hours on the shooting range under simulated stress conditions paid off when they spotted 2 pirates with AKs standing right over Jessica, who was crouched on the ground. Sheffield and another SEAL broke away from the formation, and both made sure these pirates never kidnapped anyone again with accurate shots. When Sheffield saw the American's bright face, he dove on top of her in the ongoing firefight.
See, I wanna do something like that. But then I wanna do something like that, like really see. I wanna see that happen. Like, if I'm not in it, I wanna at least see it. I wanna see like them kill the person who has the hostage. Like, I want to see the tension. I want to see what the air is like. I want to, you know what I'm saying, feel that environment, just see it. See how quiet it really is, see how loud it is, see like just everything, just the little things, man. I want to see that, bro.
Shielding her from the enemy crossfire with his own body. More SEALs joined in, and within seconds, shielding her from the American's bright face. He dove on top of her in the ongoing firefight, shielding her from the enemy crossfire.
Yeah, I could see somebody doing that, absolutely. I could see somebody doing that, a SEAL doing that, I could see that.
With his own body. More SEALs joined in, and within seconds, the teacher was protected by multiple layers of the world's best warriors.
I could see that because I remember the stories that we had to read about was people who would jump on a grenade. Like, it would be a group of Marines just in a ditch somewhere, wherever they at. It's a grenade. A Lance Corporal would just jump on a grenade. And now we're reading about him many, many years later. And there's just many different stories like that, so I can see something like that, bro. People really be sacrificing their lives, man, for real.
Although the operators themselves all had wives and children, they put the hostage's life above their own. Meanwhile, another comrade had taken care of Paul Thisted, protecting him from enemy fire as well. After all 9 pirates were neutralized and the gunfire stopped, Sheffield put Jessica on his shoulders and sprinted out of the pirate camp, as far away from any danger as possible. The other SEALs formed a human shield around the two, ready to resume the fight at any moment.
Knowing that you got
After
saved.
running as far as his feet would carry him after this energy-sapping battle, Sheffield dropped Jessica off. Para-rescue jumpers, the U.S. Air Force's specialized rescue force, tended to the American woman, who still couldn't believe she had just been rescued by her countrymen. As she anxiously asked, "What if more come? More could come." Sheffield coldly replied, "We are SEAL Team 6. We will kill anyone who tries to harm you."
That's what I'm saying, bro. Like, they doing too much with this video now, bro. They was doing a little bit much earlier when I was like, calm down. He throw the deep voice on, "We are SEAL Team 6. Shut up, bro. They did not say that, bro. Or they probably did, but not like that. They acting like this is a book.
Now. She was visibly reassured by that convincing answer of the bearded warrior who had just rescued her from the worst situation of her life.
Shout out to the Navy, bro, the SEALs.
After the SEALs blew up the pirates' arms depot, they still had to march to the landing zone of the exfiltration helicopter. Whenever a suspicious noise was heard somewhere, or reports of enemies came in over the radio, it took only a few seconds for Jessica to find herself under a layer of Navy SEALs trying to protect her with their own bodies. Fortunately, however, there was no more fighting, and the American, accompanied by the SEALs, ran independently to the Black Hawk that would fly her to freedom.
Man, I know
Behind
that
her
amazing,
lay 3
bro.
months of captivity among heavily armed pirates,
3 months.
during which she could never be sure that she would live to see.
Like, bro, a month in, you probably, I know like 45 days in, you're thinking like, man, I'm never getting out of here. Like, you're just thinking the worst. After a situation like that, it's nothing that you can't do in life. If you can survive being a hostage, and then technically, I guess she really didn't survive. Like, she didn't really do nothing, and she had no choice but to go through that. Like, yo, that's crazy though. I know 45 days in, she's like, yeah, I'm gonna die here. Like, you're thinking the worst. You don't see how it could possibly happen. You could dream, but you haven't heard too many stories like this, so you don't know. And then you don't even know if your team got in touch with the States. Because they said, I was asking earlier, how did they even know that she was a rescue? Like, how did they even know she was a hostage? And he said Jessica's team got in touch with the U.S. embassy that's out there in Somalia. So she don't even know that the team did that. She didn't even know. It's possible, though, that whenever she was still in the car, before they had snatched her out the car, they could have informed people then. They could have been doing it then. That's possible too. And maybe they just had some type of thing where they like, okay, Jessica, you're gonna be out here. Keep this thing on you. It's like a button. Just press this button if anything happens. You don't have to call nobody or nothing. Just press this button 3 times in a row. Let it go for 3 seconds. And then press it 2 more times. And that's how we know that you know what I'm saying, need help or something. Like,
See the next day. The selfless efforts of the men of SEAL Team 6 had finally saved her.
Oh, so then this them right here. This them right here. They got the pirate flag too. Huh. Yeah, that's wild though. They went out there and saved her. This the team right here. This how you get some, yeah, for sure.
As she reflected on the last few months, one of the soldiers on board knelt beside Jessica, looked her in the eye, handed her a beautifully folded American flag, and said, "Welcome home, Jessica." For those who have made it this far, thanks for watching.
Yo.
If you want to support our work, feel free to leave.
Hey, I'm out of here though, man. But this story, this guy that's telling this story, like he really went above and beyond for sure. That's crazy though. Jessica made it out of there alive. I'm gonna check out the 60 Minutes video if they don't copyright that. But we out of here. Let me know what y'all think, man. We gone, bro. We out of here. Let's get it.